Joe here. Welcome to T&D Video Games. Again, we are in the Christmas spirit. It is Friday night. We've got a busy day planned for Sunday at the store. We've got a few deals lined up. We got to go get the overstock, so let's give her. Hey guys, so we're at the unit. We're gonna go grab the restock, and I've got some extra stock from last time I was in. Typically when we get a huge lot in, there's a lot of doubles, so that will reflect kind of the value that we can give for a lot. For example, if there's a game that's price charting at a certain price, but I have like 10 of them in stock, then I'm not gonna be able to offer as much as if it's something I need. Kind of an insight on as to how we value things. So we've got the unit open here, and just to give you an idea of everything that came in a few weeks ago, this was kind of stuff we already had in the store. So this is what I would call quote unquote good overstock. So you see lots of nice NES there, but again, limited in space, so we're not keeping 5 or 6 copies of every game in the store. So we're gonna put this away, and then we're gonna grab the restock from last week's sales. Okay, so I'm going through the restock list. I've got it all nice, alphabetized, organized, so I know what to grab. And Dave was in the week prior. I look at the sales sheet, and for Nintendo 64, it just says Star Wars. There's like 18 Star Wars games for the Nintendo 64, so I don't know which one to restock. Come on, Dave, you gotta do better. You gotta write the whole name of the game down so I know what to get. So our solution is we're gonna grab one of every Star Wars game that we have in our unit. As you can see here, my Christmas tree needles kind of leaked into this bin, but it's all good. Thanks to Dave for not writing down what Star Wars game it was, so we're gonna grab all 3. Jesus. Gran Turismo. Again, not written down. Is it this one? Is it this one? Who knows? Guess we'll bring both. So we've got the restock all ready to go. Hey guys, we are live from the garage. We've had a lot of people reach out to us this week looking to sell. So we've been fielding a lot of quote requests, and actually had 2 people from out of town who could not make it on Sunday to sell to us. So I've gone ahead and met up with them locally this week. And I've got, as you can see here, a couple of bins behind me. So we're gonna take a look at those. We're gonna get them all stacked up neat and nice. And we're gonna film those and show you guys what we got. So stay tuned. We've moved everything down to the basement. We've got the first lot here that we picked up, ready to go to be filmed and photographed. Want to give a quick shout out to Jesse, who traveled from, didn't say where he came from, but said he drove about an hour and a half to meet up to sell me this stuff. Okay, so first up, we got some nice NES games here. Always happy to get those gray carts in. We got Bubble Bobble, Castlevania 2, Destination Earthstar, Godzilla, Jurassic Park, Mega Man 3. Happy to get that, actually pretty low on Mega Man games in general. Mario Duck Hunt, Mario 3, and Ninja Turtles, all in great shape. And he also had these really cool Nintendo cases. We have a lot of customers who like grabbing one of those for each of their loose carts, so happy to get those. And then moving over to the Master System, I stacked this one up. It's not a crazy valuable game, but I just thought the box art was really cool. You've got 2 muscular dudes with bazookas shooting at a dinosaur, so I mean, this game must be cool. It looks like an overhead running gun, kind of like Akari Warriors or Commando. And then going down here, Choplifter, Double Dragon, Shinobi, and Wonder Boy, all for the Master System. We've got an NES console, Gray Zapper, which is actually selling a lot better for us than the orange one. A lot of the collectors see the orange one, learn about the gray one, and want to get that one. So that one was first packaged with the NES, and then I guess they thought it looked too much like a real gun, so they switched it to orange. And a controller to go with that. And then we got a Master System here, and a light phaser, and 2 Master System controllers. So happy to grab all that. Thanks again, Jesse, for taking a mini road trip to get a deal done with me. Cheers. Hey guys, so thought I'd try something different with this lot. Usually when I'm sitting on this couch, I've got Dave when we're chatting games. I couldn't find Dave. I've got Grogu here with me. He's got the name tag on. They basically look the same, so basically it's like Dave's right here with me. So we're gonna go through this lot. Quick shout out to Rob, who came all the way from Brockville, which is about an hour and a half away from Ottawa, to sell us this lot. Had a great conversation kind of around pricing and values and basically how we allocated most of our offer to the Nintendo stuff in this lot. Sega stuff, for whatever reason, just does not do well for us. And I can't explain it. I love the Genesis. I always talk about how people sleep on the Genesis. So with that in mind, let's start with the Genesis stuff we got. So first up, Soldiers of Fortune. Great game, hard to find. And by the way, these are all complete and in really good shape. So obviously Sonic 2, pretty much every Genesis lot we get comes with Sonic 2. Next up, Echo the Dolphin, one of my favorite games. Just kidding, I can't stand this game, but sells well for us and happy to get it. Next up, Alien 3. So from what I've been told, this is a lot better than the Super Nintendo version. I have this one. I have not played the Super Nintendo one or the Genesis one to make a fair comparison, but it's a game I'd really like to get to maybe next Halloween when we're in kind of like the horror theme, and yeah, we'll give that a go next year. Next up, RoboCop versus Terminator. Again, another great game. Very good on the Genesis. I've actually played this game. Really like it. Again, not sure why Genesis doesn't sell well, but if you're in the area, come by this game. It's a great game. And then last but not least, Sonic and Knuckles. So can't go wrong with that game. I mean, it's too bad that this is basically part 2 of Sonic 3, but again, happy to get this in complete. Again, when Sega cheaped out and moved to cardboard, it was a lot harder to find everything in better condition. I'm a fan of their hard clamshell cases, but happy to get this one in the cardboard complete and in really good condition. Okay, now moving along to the Nintendo items. So first up, Game Genie. Typically when we get a lot of Nintendo stuff, the Game Genie's there. Again, the games were really hard back in the day, so a lot of kids had Game Genie. I know I had one. My parents thought it would break my system, but it clearly didn't. I actually found my old Nintendo, some of the games actually worked better when I put them in the Game Genie just to get the game to boot. Before we knew that all you had to do was clean everything, I would use the Game Genie to kind of get my games to work, even if I wasn't going to use the cheat codes. Starting with the heavy here, Mario Duck Hunt. I mean, typically when we get an NES lot, that's in there. RC Pro-Am. Again, on my NES buyer's guide for Christmas for 2023. If you're starting an NES collection at any time, RC Pro-Am's got to be one of your first games. Next up, and I thought these were cool, this is Jaws. Again, these came in these little clamshell cases with the labels on them, so I thought that was kind of neat. Always good to get Jaws. And then we got Kung Fu. And this one actually came with like the rental store instructions, so I love these. Take a look at that. Basically, when they were renting games, Nintendo tried to sue some of the game store rental companies, and the way they were able to do that was for the copyright on the manuals. So a lot of game stores would just make their own manuals, which is what you saw there, which is a pretty cool story. Next up, Dragon Warrior. And again, it's got the cool kind of like made up instructions on the back. So I wonder whose job it was to take the regular manual and just kind of condense it into like a pamphlet basically that went into the back. But that's how they got around the copyright and they were able to rent games. Next up, we've got these cool kind of hint books. Boom and boom. Always cool to get those. Again, magazines and strategy guides and books don't sell all that great for us, so we typically price them very low, but I'm sure there's a collector who's trying to get all of those. So I remember getting was it this one? It was a book similar to this one. I remember at the Scholastic Book Fair where you could get like your car posters and and books. Sometimes they had the odd Nintendo book, so I would get my parents to order it for me. But yeah, happy to get those in. And then we got a lot of nice complete NES stuff. So starting out with the NES Max. Again, I had one of these when I was a kid. I thought it was the coolest controller ever. Don't think that way so much anymore. I mean, it's neat for the separate turbo buttons, but the little thumb pad on it here is not very, very good. Next up, Captain Skyhawk. And I'll again say all of these NES games are complete and in pretty good condition. Pac-Mania, used to rent this one back in the day. Operation Wolf, and then we got a nice one here. The Legend of Zelda. This is in really good condition. It's the one with the cutout and you can see the gold cartridge through it. So really happy to get this one in. Next up, Castlevania, the first one. So Really hard to find complete. Actually, we have trouble just keeping the cart of this in stock, so I'm really happy to have this in. Overall, it's in really nice condition. Next up, we've got Super Mario Brothers 3. So again, pretty much every collection we get has Mario 3. Now, not always complete. This one is in nice shape. It's got the old Zeller's price tag. Looks like they ripped the price tag off, but I think it says 70 something 99. I don't know. I know this game was really expensive back in the day in Canada, but really cool to see the old school Zeller's price tag on there. Next up, The Simpsons, Bart versus the Space Mutants. I wasn't a big fan of this game back in the day. I used to rent it. It just not a great game in my opinion. Some people like it. Probably a guilty pleasure for a lot of people because I'm guessing a lot of people got this game. But again, happy to get it in complete. I'm sure there's a collector out there who's looking for it. And then we got Cabal. So this was a game I used to play with my neighbors actually. Like they would rent games and I'd never heard of this game. It's a really cool kind of duck and cover. You're behind enemy lines and you're shooting out. I don't know what that view would be, like third person, I guess. But it's a fixed screen, kind of like Wild Guns on the Super Nintendo. So that style of gameplay, but on the NES. We used to rent this all the time and play the crap out of it back in the day. So really happy to get that. And then we also got the Big Kahuna, the NES Advantage. Always happy to get those in. We typically underprice these in our store because of the amount of room they take up, so we'll throw a nice price on that and hopefully move it over the next couple of weeks. And then last but not least, we've got, I think these are kind of cool. We got a lot of these old rental style Nintendo holders here. So we have a lot of collectors who like to grab these for their games, and a lot of nice variety here in the colors for these. So I think there's even a pink one over here. Ooh, Nintendo and Super Nintendo. So that's it for this lot, guys. Again, very happy to get it. We'll take some photos, throw it up on Facebook, and we'll make sure we have it all into the store tomorrow. Cheers.
What has today been like?
Insane.
You filming?
I am.
You should put the phone down and do some work.
I should, yes. Yeah. Exactly.